Welcome back to Stonedeaf. This is Anna Stella.
And you're watching Anna Stella Rocks with me, Toby Jepson from Wayward Sons.
Lovely to meet you.
Lovely to meet you
Are you
too.
enjoying the weather?
Isn't it wonderful? The sun's gone down a little bit now, but it was
Well, I'm quite
red hot,
thankful for
wasn't it?
that because, I always bring chocolates, which I would offer you, but they've all melted on the
It
journey
was
here.
an
So
absolute steaming day.
it
So,
has been.
Yeah,
and
it's been great.
It's
Been
nice
great.
to cool. Now, something I noticed on your Twitter page intrigued me.
Okay.
You describe yourself as a fool of a human who believes that everything is possible and nothing is as it seems.
Uh-huh.
Please, can you elaborate?
Well, because I think this life that we lead is a gift, and I think we need to keep an open mind. We need to be mindful of the fact that we only have one ride here. I don't believe in, I'm an atheist. I don't believe in gods of any kind whatsoever. So I believe that we're here to do good things. We only have one shot at doing that. So. But I do think we're all a little bit foolish. We all say silly things and do stupid things, and so it kind of sums me up. I think it's just my own personal way of summing myself up, because I think everything is possible within reason.
Yeah.
I'm not a conspiracy theorist or anything like that, but I do believe, there are things hidden below the surface that none of us really understand, and our task, as the way I see it, is to live a good life and try and uncover those things and do good things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talking about the music, your critically acclaimed debut album came out in 2017, Ghosts Have Yet to Come, and you've got a new record coming out soon. Would you like to tell us about that?
We have, yeah. It's called The Truth Ain't What It Used to Be, and it's our second record. And what can I say about it, really? I'm hoping it's a progression. I think most people will hopefully view it as that. It's not the same record as Ghosts Have Yet to Come. How could it be, But, we've evolved as a band, and I'm very pleased with it. I mean, you can't make records and second guess what the audience is going to, how they're going to react to it, how they feel about it. So all you can really do is please yourself, and keep the art intact, and be confident in what you're saying. And so it's very important to make statements that you believe in, And I'm a politically motivated person, but I'm more about the human. I'm interested in the human race and everything that we do, and wrong and right, And I'm just one of obviously billions of people on this planet that has a tiny little platform to talk about these things, and all I really hope with my music is that it stimulates a conversation.
And I noticed with this new album, particularly, it was described as a concept album whereby the tracks are sort of connected with a narrative.
Yeah.
So what sort of narrative are we talking about?
Well, I mean, I think it's a bit of a stretch to say it's a concept record. I think it's more of a protest album. I'm protesting against what I see as the absolute stupidity that's existing in the world right now. I mean, I think politically, we're in the darkest period I think this world has ever seen. I've never known a time in my lifetime where it's been quite so disturbing in lots of ways. And I feel that there's almost I almost believe it's like a responsibility of mine and my fellow artists to talk about this stuff. It doesn't matter what side of the fence you're on. It's more about getting conversations going. Rock and roll has always been a great place to talk about stuff.
Yes.
Specifically to talk about what is happening to us. We should be reflecting what's going on around us. I've never been a writer of songs that just talk about sex, drugs and rock and roll. I've never have been, because it just doesn't interest me. I think there's far more interesting things to talk about. But if you want to listen to this album purely one-dimensionally as a piece of music, then that's easy. Yeah. But if you want to go delve a bit deeper, there is a narrative that runs all the way through the record. Yeah. And it's my personal view of the world,
Okay. Well, you recently released a single, Jokes on You. What's that about?
Well, I mean, I feel really disappointed with a lot of people. I've got to be honest that we seem to be having this kind of strange fever. There seems to be this sort of strange idea that it's okay to be unempathetic. It's okay to be homophobic. It's okay to be xenophobic. It's okay not to believe the truth. And it seems to be infecting everybody. I mean, you only have to look at America. We only have to look at our own country for the way people have reacted to Brexit and the sort of divisions that are being created because of it. I think there's a lack of common sense. I think there's a lack of empathy. And I think we need to sort of take a long, hard look at ourselves. And it's not just the politicians. The politicians headed up by some of the worst people I have ever known in my entire life. are now running our country and running America and running Brazil. It's a disaster. So unless the population can get a grip as to what is and what constitutes the truth and what doesn't, we are heading into very uncharted waters.
Sure.
And I do believe that, you know, people like me have a responsibility to talk about this stuff. And I don't care if people don't agree with me or not. It's immaterial. This is my point of view.
Everyone's entitled to their opinion.
Absolutely they are. But there is a big difference between having an opinion that's based in falsehood and having an opinion that is based in fact.
Yeah, sure.
Simple.
Okay, something slightly different. Lightning in a bottle. I'd like to talk to you about that.
Yeah.
And I hope that wasp won't sting you. I've managed to get away without being stung today, so I think I'm doing quite well. Would you like to talk about lightning in a bottle?
Yeah, I mean, Lightning in a Bottle was a kind of a company that me and Rob Town from Stampede Press have put together. I've known Rob for a few years. Rob contacted me years ago and said, look, I'd love to get involved with you and do your press. I run a company, and I got to know him and I absolutely love the guy. You know, he's a really positive, generous-hearted, wonderfully, equipped person. You know, he's a fantastic guy. And we always had the same conversations about how we felt it was difficult for young bands to find their way through what really results to the maze that is the modern music business. And so we felt like we wanted to try and help bands, you know, and we wanted to talk to people and give them a chance to understand how to navigate it, how to get a roadmap.
And from my point of view as a journalist, I'm totally behind that, because I focus mainly on the new up-and-coming bands that are just trying to get their name out there, touring, you know.
And I work with a lot of those bands, but you know, because I'm a producer.
Yeah.
Outside of doing Wayward Sons, I produce records, specifically rock albums, you know. So I've seen it 1,000 times, you know. Young bands have got all the right intentions, but are quite often very, very misinformed.
Yeah.
And so what we wanted to do with it, and we will continue to do with it, is to give everyone a little bit of a kind of just the right information.
Yeah.
And then they have to make up their own minds as to whether they want to follow that. You know,
Yeah,
we can't force people, but at the end of the day, it's what we want it to be is a kind of little bit of a light in the tunnel. You know.
Yeah. I decided to take a couple of questions on Twitter for you.
Okay, great.
There's only a couple, but one of them was from Gig Buddy, and he'd like to know, how does being in a rock band now compared to being in a band in the 90s?
In many ways, it's completely not different. There's no difference.
Yeah.
You still have to write great songs. You still have to do something of real note. You can't let. I think the big difference is that because the internet's now obviously so prevalent, it's where everyone goes to sort of sell themselves. The big difference is that mechanism has given rise to a concept that it's the be all and end all, and the kind of
Speaking of bees,
it's the be all and end all of how you can become successful, and that isn't the truth. You still have to work really hard. I mean, look at me. I mean, I had a successful career with Little Angels, and I'm now on the trail again, trying to gain some momentum with a new band. You know, and it's no different. You've got to be good. You've got to write great songs. You've got to commit to it. It's really hard work.
Yeah.
So the principles are the same. But the kind of mechanisms of selling it have all changed, that's all.
Okay, well, you've got a tour coming up, haven't you? So, in fact, you're touring at the moment, of course. Yeah. So, a question related to that from Ian Gould. When are you going to play Liverpool?
Well, we played Liverpool on the last headline tour. I forget when it was now, but I think it was maybe November last year or something. But we will always go. I mean, Liverpool was a heartland for the Little Angels, and I've always loved the atmosphere of playing in Liverpool. Yeah. So, you know, we try and get everywhere. You can't get everywhere every tour. You know, it's impossible. So what I'd sort of talk to the agent about is if we don't go there, I want to go there again next time. You know what I mean? So we do our best. You know.
Okay, I'm sure it's appreciated. I want to thank you very much for talking to me today.
Okay.
Have a great weekend in the sunshine.
And you. Thanks for having me.
Until next time, this is rock and roll.
This is rock and roll, burning out to my